As you can see here, fueling continues on the Falcon 9 rocket there.
Ground battery track has started.
That call out for the strong back retract sequence to begin. The clamp arms underneath the payload fairings will open up, and that transport erector will recline about 1.5 degrees away from the vehicle. You can see those clamp arms opening up here. This vantage point also gives us a good opportunity to take a quick look at the crew access tower there just to the right of the vehicle. Well, actually now directly behind it. What we saw in that first image, or that first camera angle, I should say, as the clamp arms were opening up. You saw those two white boxes next to the tower, which from this vantage point, you can see sort of where the tower extends toward the camera in this angle. You see sort of these three silver rungs. The second one that's kind of parallel to the crew access arm. You see two white boxes. From those, there's a slide system that ejects from there and runs along a series of cables that extend to the ground away from the rocket. This is part of the emergency certifying
Complete.
a number of things on this tower that they weren't able to do with the Northrop Grumman Cygnus launch NG-20. They're hoping to test that out with the launch of a cargo Dragon mission, CRS-30, expected to launch from Pad 40. This will be the first time since the Dragon abort test that a second generation Dragon spacecraft will launch from this pad. So very much looking forward to that mission. We're now T-minus 1 minute, 53 seconds and counting from this launch that we're watching today, Starlink 6-40. The venting you're starting to see on your screen as the ground gas closeouts as fueling is
complete.
Now completed, as you just heard. The Falcon 9 is fully fueled with 1 million pounds of propellant. As we come upon the last 60 seconds of the mission countdown, if you haven't already, be sure to hit the like button. Got nearly 13,000 of you watching live. We'd love to bring some more folks to this live launch coverage coming in on a Thursday and a leap day. And as we've been discussing, this will be just the 4th time in history that a rocket has launched on leap day. The first time from the US. We're now T-minus 55 seconds and counting.
Falcon 9 is in startup.
We should be hearing the SpaceX launch director give their go for liftoff in just a few seconds.
Go for launch.
And with that call out, now 30 seconds away from liftoff, Falcon 9 is ready to support this flight, sending 23 Starlink satellites up to low Earth orbit. Now 20 seconds out. 15 seconds. And 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Engine ignition. And liftoff of the Falcon 9 rocket, sending Starlink satellites up to low Earth orbit. The vehicle has cleared the tower. Falcon 9 quickly climbing into some clouds. Our tracking team working to get visual on the rocket again. Hearing the loud rumble given the amount of clouds in the area. Falcon 9 rocket now traveling faster than the speed of sound. A little more than a minute into flight. We're coming up on a number of events in rapid succession. The vehicle passing through max Q, point of greatest aerodynamic pressure on the rocket. Coming up at T plus 2 minutes and 26 seconds will be MECO, or first stage main engine cutoff. That'll be followed 3 seconds later by stage separation. Then the second stage engine start, followed by fairing deployment. T plus 3 minutes and 3 seconds. We're approaching 2 minutes into flight. Those 9mm engines will begin to throttle down as we approach MECO.
MVAC chill.
And the call for MVAC chill down. They're thermally conditioning that Merlin vacuum engine before ignition.
MECO.
Stage separation confirmed.
MVAC ignition.
Great views of Florida. You can see all the clouds that were hanging around Florida Space Coast, creating less than ideal views of a launch liftoff. Coming up on fairing separation now. So the hypersonic grid fins have deployed.
Fairing
there
separation confirmed.
There go the payload fairings. Those Starlink satellites now exposed to the vacuum space for the first time, and you can see those fairings falling back to Earth, where they will land in the Atlantic Ocean under parachutes. Get ready to be scooped up by the drone ship, or excuse me, by the recovery vessel, Bob. Meanwhile, the Falcon 9 first stage, tail number 1076, making its way toward the drone ship. Just read the instructions. Coming up on 4 minutes into flight. Coming up on 4.5 minutes into flight. The next milestone will be the first stage entry burn. That burn lasting 22 seconds, beginning at T plus 6 minutes and 5 seconds. Those bursts that you see there on the Falcon 9 first stage of the cold gas thrusters that are orienting the Falcon 9 first stage in the correct attitude ahead of the entry burn beginning.
Vehicles are on a nominal trajectory.
You can see by the altitude meter that the Falcon 9 first stage has passed and is descending from its apogee now, closing in on just 100 kilometers above the Earth's surface. The speedometer will rapidly drop as soon as that entry burn begins as well. Now a little over 5.5 minutes into flight, less than 30 seconds away from that entry burn beginning.
Stage 1 FTS has saved.
Stage 1 entry burn startup.
We hear the call out, see the visual, the entry burn underway. Again, this will last just 22 seconds. As the Falcon 9 first stage starting to hit the brakes, making its way down toward the drone ship. Just read the instructions.
Stage 1 entry burn shutdown.
Stage 2 FTS has saved.
With the conclusion of that entry burn, the landing burn is set to begin in just over a minute at about T+8 minutes. We're coming up on 7.5 minutes into flight. All remains nominal with
Stage
both
1
the first
transonic.
and the second stages, as the first stage is now traveling below the speed of sound. So we're coming up on 8 minutes into flight.
Stage 1 landing burn.
See, the landing burn has begun. Just read the instructions has come into view.
Stage 1 landing leg deploy.
And
Stage 1
touchdown.
landing confirmed.
Booster 1076, now 11 times up, 11 times down. We're waiting to hear the call. There's that call out for SECO 1, second stage engine cutoff. Falcon 9 upper stage will now go into a parking orbit until about T+54
Nominal
minutes
orbit
and
insertion.
9 seconds. At that point, there will be a quick 2-second burn with that Merlin vacuum engine. Less than an hour from satellite deployment. Attention returns to a crew mission here at Launch Complex 39A. As the Crew 8 astronauts and cosmonaut eagerly await the orbiting post. Again, currently set for no earlier than Saturday at 11:16 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 0416 UTC. The Crew Dragon spacecraft will take about a day to catch up to the International Space Station, where we'll dock at the forward or Earth-facing port on the Harmony module. There will be a brief, about a 5-day handover between the quartet of the Crew 7 mission and those coming aboard with Crew 8, where they will familiarize themselves with operations aboard the space station, get adjusted to their new crew quarters before we go ahead and say farewell to Jasmine McBelly and the rest of the Crew 7 astronauts before they step aboard their Crew Dragon spacecraft and return to Earth for a splashdown off the coast of Florida.